Let's talk about it with us right now. Maybe tears or laughs out loud. Let's make a difference as we speak through conversation for our future and future generations. Let's talk about it.
Welcome to the season finale.
Yes. uh, all good things must come to an end. So I'm a little disappointed that this one is coming to an end, but it's still not over because we have This Is Us, which, um, is all about Black history,
Mhm.
and we did the women in season 1, and season 2, we're gonna be getting into our men of color that have really contributed, so that I'm excited about. But that being said, let's talk about season 4, child.
Yes. So y'all still hear from us, just with our special series, but as always, we do like to wrap the season and dive into what we loved the most, hated the most, some of those challenges, and that's what we're gonna do today.
I have a tendency to just kinda throw stuff on you and be like, "Girl, so what was" Um So, do we wanna start
Mm.
the wanna start off with a want, the not so exciting, the ones that we kinda really didn't, enjoy as much, or do we wanna start off with the positivity and then just roll downhill? Like, which one we gonna go, uphill
I
or
don't
downhill?
know. I don't know because this season, I think we was the most challenging one that we've had, I think.
Yes.
Um, and it has a lot to do with what's happening in the world today. It makes it really hard to want to even catch the news, watch the news because you don't know what's real, you don't know what's fake, nothing feels real. So we have to be like very selective on what we're watching. Excuse me, let me speak for myself. I have to be selective in what I'm watching just for my own mental health because there's so much uncertainty.
So you
Because
haven't been abducted by dolphins, so
which I didn't even know was a story. That's quite the hoax.
we're off to a good start. Um, yeah, I agree. I believe this season was tough, but it was more so like you said, it was outside events. Nothing to do with our guests, nothing to do with um the current events. Well, it had a lot to do with the current events, but the ones that we were kind of like everything that has been going on, I think even kind of played a big part in what we were talking about and what we wouldn't talk about because it was so much going on. I know for me personally, I, you know, lost a family member, someone that was close to me, and then life be life in, with a number of other things. Um Financially, we had what else was going on? Oh my gosh. We had furloughs going on. Um so it was a lot. I felt like this season, and some of that I think really did kind of affect
Mhm.
what we kind of talked about. But I will say, I think because of that, I think we did talk about a lot more upbeat stuff. We didn't really touch on um because I know when you look at some of our other seasons, season 1, 2, 3, we kind of was all in, even with the stuff that was really hard to talk about, like, we didn't mind having those really, really hard conversations, but I do feel like season 4, I think we had really hard conversations and, like, that was more personal to where it had us kinda come from a lighter topic subjects, topics, not subjects, but topics. I
Yeah.
feel like
We
we
try to
did.
keep a lot more lighter things, but we tried. Were we always successful? No.
No.
We were
Girl.
not very successful, and even down to even down to the, like when we had the live and we actually that live with that guest who was so off the wall, and then we had
I
to, like, dive
forgot.
into, like, what the fuck did we do wrong here?
Yes.
I hated having to
Okay,
go through
look.
that episode, and while the guest seemed charming initially, and this was for the live, he seemed kinda charming, he was like a snake just laying in wait to say something that would be fucking offensive. And it just is that type of person is really reflective of the world today. It's so reflected of the world today because here's why I say it. Because there's all this talk about DEI, DEI, like we got to take away the DEI, 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 take it away to it because whatever, it's racist, it's reverse racism, blah, 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 blah. And then you have someone like that who actually proves the point, who like we're just shooting the shit and he's sitting here talking about racist misnomers like, oh yeah, there's a fight in the cruise over a fucking piece of chicken. That was like the most, if you're black, we know that's racism. But he tried to present it in, oh, I'm just this cool, chill bro guy who just says off the wall shit and whatever. But like him, people like him is reflective of what's going on in the world today.
So, I know you probably gonna be like, "What?" And I'm waiting for it. Girl, I can't wait till you edit this one and I see your reaction. I appreciated that episode a lot.
Mm,
I really wholeheartedly did, and reason being is because it really did, change me as far as realizing that I don't have to hold back and play it safe. I kinda felt like, we were, trying to get more guests, and I didn't wanna be, discouraging or so before I wouldn't say what it was that I was thinking, and I really have a tendency and we talked about this, like, on a lot of previous episodes where I have a tendency to laugh or make light or joke about things in the most especially when I'm really like um in a in a moment like where it's like difficult for me to tackle it on in that moment, I will make light of it, I'll joke about it. And even in that moment in my mind, I was like, what the but I never said what the fuck. And I
mhm,
feel like I should have said what the fuck? Really what I wanted to do was I wanted him to elaborate on one of the comments that he made. I said, "Well, what do you mean when you say, um, ghetto?
mhm.
What explain ghetto to me so that way I can make sure that when we're saying ghetto, we on the same page as to what you mean when you say ghetto, right?" But in that moment I kind of restrained and I held back. And so what I liked most about that episode, though he was, you know, what I appreciated is that that happened early on. And when I say early on, I mean early on into us really trying to get guests. So if ever encountering a situation like that again, we will definitely react differently because we've had guests, but we've really been working on trying to do more of that. And I'm
Yeah.
happy that it happened
Yeah.
then. So moving forward, I'm telling you now, it's like no hold back. It's no let me sit with it. It's no kind of think on it because that's too much opportunity for the other person to either make us look like we're on board with it, okay with it, or like we're not getting it. No, we're getting it, but in that moment, I just couldn't. I thought it, but I felt like somewhere along the way, I kind of lost my brave in that moment because you know me and my mouth is, you know, I feel like.
And, we as a podcast, like I don't know, we shy away from certain topics that we know are very controversial. We have our reasons. And I wonder if some of those things are the ones that we really want to talk about, but we kind of are afraid to for various reasons because we know like it's not safe. Like it's not safe for women these days. It's certainly not safe for Black women these days. And the repercussions of us saying something is a lot different for someone like the Jill Zarins of the world who she has money. It's not going to, the only thing that's getting her on these reality TV shows is her ego. That feeds her ego. The woman has enough money where if she gets fired from a show for something she said,
Mhm.
what's the
She gonna
lawsuit?
be okay. She's gonna be okay.
She'll be okay
Un-
financially. Yeah, absolutely.
right. Unlike the average person who, um, if they lose a job, it's
Yeah.
gonna be like a whole ripple effect. It's not just gonna be a publicity event. It's gonna be real life. And I'm not saying that what she did is real life. It's not real life, but their real life and our real life for the
Yeah.
average person's real life, it looks
It's different.
it
A
looks
whole lot different.
different. Um and I believe that you are 100% correct, and that is such a valid statement. Is that a lot of things that we wish to talk about, we do kind of we don't because we do have, I feel like, combined and even separately, we have some very um
Strong opinion.
strong strong opinions, and it would be great to be in a society where those strong opinions um would not jeopardize
Yeah.
not just your livelihood, but those strong opinions would not put you in danger. Because
Yes.
I think that's the part. I really feel like, and I mean this wholeheartedly, I really feel like if I didn't have other people that I had to make sure were good, I think I would definitely be a little bit more bold in my approach than maybe how I am now. I feel like we have very strong opinions, but I feel like we're very subtle in
Yeah, we joke
in
about it.
right.
And if you know, you
Right.
know. If you don't, oh well.
Period. If you don't get it, you don't get it. Um, but I
And
feel like I wish we was in a space where we could be a lot more bold, not just bold, but be straight. You know, some people don't handle honesty well, and sometimes they need that good, honest, straight up
yeah.
facts, but you can't really give it to them because we're not in an environment where it is safe for us
Yes.
to
And
do that.
we when we have had guests, we are very careful in creating safe spaces and from like non-judgmental places. So we're not talking about that. we're talking about like those outside things that we don't talk about, that I think that some people might assume that we have a position when we do, but we're just not going to talk about it. And there's so much stuff that we talk about that doesn't even make the final cut because we don't feel it's safe enough for the both of us to be able to talk freely about certain things. We're not at the level of the, I don't know, direct CEOs of the world. We're not at the level of people like that, where now he's very kind. It's just a podcast that I watch, but we're not at that level where he has regular income streams that outside of this podcast, that if he were to get any bad press, he'd be just fine. So
Right.
we're playing on a different playing field from a lot of the other of our podcasts. I don't want to say mutuals because they're not,
Girl, I feel like we're not even on the field, on the sideline. We over here like,
how do we get in main character?
look, we in the game. Like, put me in the game. Can you put me in the game? Hey, look over here. We over here. Can you let us play a little bit here?
We're the bench warmers.
Hey,
that part. So, it's like you said earlier, you said something specifically about like what we're working with now. It's like when we first started the podcast, there was like a handful of people, but now every single TikTok influencer, every famous person has been able to tap into that revenue, which really kind of, it's a market for everybody, but it kind of impacts us negatively because we're on the bench.
And it's so high demand now. Like anybody with heck, even a phone. Like you don't even gotta have a microphone. Like anybody with a darn phone at this point can just go out there and do a podcast. So it's a lot of competition. But I do feel like, even with that being said, I still feel like we have grown enormously from beginning until now. And it doesn't mean that we're out of the game. Like a lot of times what I hold on to, and I think we talked about this previously, and I don't want to drop names, you know what I'm saying? But like there was the football player that played football and everybody thought he was absolutely out of his mind when he was like, he was going to be this inspirational speaker. And he started doing his videos about relationships and about God and da 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 da. And he said that it took a very long time, even him being on the field, literally, like it took him a while to really build and grow. And he said, even to the point where he was about to give up at one time, like, and then he said, it took some time, but then it kind of flourished and grew into what it is now. And now he's like, a really big influencer. So I try to hold on to that, even though it looks like it's not doing what it do, especially when you see other people come in. Like we talked about that off the air.
Oh my gosh.
You see other people come in, you be like,
how'd you do this in like a second?
You've
been trying this for how long?
And we're still over here talking about coach. And you what's going on?
Yeah.
So it does get a little discouraging, but I feel like, yeah, it does get discouraging, but sometimes when things take longer, they take longer for a reason and you don't see the reason yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? Like your meal, like you wanna order this meal and you see everybody else meal coming. What's that story? You see everybody else meal come before your meal and you like, dang, I'm still waiting on my meal. You know what I'm saying? but your meal took a little bit longer because it was something special about your meal. It was an extra ingredient or something that wasn't on those other meals, and that's why yours took a little bit longer. So, um, I really do try to look at it that way. And again, season 4, like, this was really a tough space. You know what I'm saying? It was stuff that most of it was out of our control, though. You know what I'm saying? It was like this, then this, then this, and it's like, "What?" You know? So it was a lot.
Yeah, and I think the progress that we've seen for this year is that we got more qualified, like quality guests. Which I think phenomenal guests, by the way, let me just say that. Um, that I feel so blessed that they chose to like be on our podcast for whatever reason. Like these things were meant to happen. So it feels like even though we're not as popular as whatever the two thick girls, which I can't remember the name of their podcast right now, that's okay because I think the quality of our work is only getting better, the quality of our guests. And I think this year was like the guy from She's Your Daughter. And I thought he was great because in terms of like he's trying to like bring something to the community that protect women, but not from the bro code angle where I'm the man and the angle that he was coming from seemed like a very gentle place and a good place. And then like Attorney Di, like I was geeking out. Like she was fantastic and really kind of teaching us more about the law. And then Be Love, I love Attorney Di, but Be Love was like by far my favorite because she was so raw.
And vulnerable. She
Very.
put it out there, like, she didn't mind just saying, "This is what it is." But
Yeah.
even with that being said, this is what I will say. I feel like all our guests, even from day 1, have all been very, important guests. They all shared such information, such positivity. Like, I think about our very first guest of
Mhm.
all time, right? And, god dang. And I'm looking at her in my mind, but her name won't come to me. I'm looking at her face. Dang. But anyway, with that being said, like, I feel like we've always had guests that, um, definitely had some very important roles and definitely had some really good information. But I feel like as we grew, I feel like, our guests also, not only that, but I would love to have some of our guests, especially from season 1, to come back and be
Mhm.
like, you know what I'm saying? See any of our seasons, season 1, season 2, um,
Yeah, because like
even,
last season we had Lovable Litters.
right.
She kind of
Yeah.
went season 3, she went through some of the challenges she was experiencing, which frankly is shocking. And if I'm not mistaken, as of most recently, like there's some stuff still ongoing that she's having to deal with the business identity theft. Like it's bonkers. Like, and she did say, I think that she got the check mark and that kind of helped she got her account verified, which kind of helped.
Okay.
But it's not, as far as I can tell, it seems very personally motivated from what I have seen. So like she's just being targeted. I don't know. Um, but I think all of our guests you're right, have all contributed something for us to
Darlene.
learn. Oh,
I'm
Darlene.
so
Oh yeah,
sorry.
she's one of our first.
As you was talking, I was like, "Man, Miss Darlene Haygood, our first
And we were so nervous.
very, very."
And
Yes.
unpolished.
Yes. We didn't even have a visual, like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take away from,
Mm-mm.
the story, but as you was talking, her name came up to my head, and, sometimes I have to get it out because 'cause I'm old, I forget. If we come back to it, it's gone. It's a wrap. It's done. Uh, but, I would love for any of those guests to come back, but I would really love for her to come back and just kinda tell us, what things have changed, what things, are the same, how her growth, because I did see where she had a podcast, and I was like,
Mm.
"Oh, look at this." So, maybe that could be a possibility, but I I've enjoyed every guest that we have had, and I learned from that one that we really didn't like so much, and that was very
Right.
important, I think, for us. Like, that was very important. That I feel like that had to happen.
Yeah,
It had to happen
I agree because
because it'll get tougher, especially as we start getting more and more guests, right?
yes, because we need to do a little bit better vetting because we were just so I was just so focused on like we need guests, we need this, blah, 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 blah. And then it was kind of like, okay, fine. And then I was like, what the fuck? And then like you said, like being working a little bit faster, like I should have dropped him a whole lot faster than I did. But there was a point where I was like, okay, that's enough. We're gonna stop this. But we could have moved a lot quicker, but now we just know, like, fuck your feelings. We're just gonna drop you in a hot second. Like that's gonna be our new motto. Like we are absolutely gonna have more guests coming into the next season. But if you act like an asshole, we won't even give you an opportunity to keep going. Like we will just disconnect you. So let this be a word of warning. Who anyone wants to be our guest in the future, we're not going to be as nice. Or especially if you're being a jackass. But I do think that the fact that we are really at bringing on guests that are just real people. They're not famous. They're just real people like you and I.
Mhm.
Because how many more times do we need to hear from? I don't know. I don't know. I can't think of a name at this moment. But how many more times do we have to hear about this same person doing a press tour? That's great, but you're a famous person. We want to hear from real people.
Yes. I feel like that is also and we definitely talked about that. I feel like, it's just adding more almost kinda like, I don't know, I guess I can compare it to the housing market, right? When it's just like, so many houses on the market. It's so many options, so it's not beneficial for anybody. Now, I'm not saying that these other podcasts are not good, that's not what I'm saying. But how many of them are from genuine, like, content,
Mhm.
or they just know somebody, and because that person is who they are, we're gonna tune in. And I'm guilty of it, and I'm not knocking it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I knew, um, whoever, I would definitely be like, "Hey, you wanna come on? You wanna join us?" So, I'm not saying that. I guess what I am saying is that it definitely is a lot tougher. But with that being said, even with it being tougher, I feel like the tougher it is, I feel like the more polished
We become. This is
we
absolutely
become.
true. Yeah, yeah,
I
absolutely.
think.
The market is 100% like overly saturated with podcasters
Yes.
because everybody
Yeah.
and their mama is a podcaster these days. And that's fine because we was everybody and their mama. We everybody
Period.
and
And
their mama.
still
And still, right?
on the bench, might I add.
The bench warmer. But I think the only thing that does for us is it's teaching us that we've got to step up our game and figure like our strategies and stuff like that on what we need to do to become successful. And the fact of the matter is, It's like you said, the football player. It took however many years. I look at Mr. Beast in particular. The only reason why I know him is because my kid watched him. And he has this really great show on Amazon, by the way, Mr. Beast Games. It's really good until you get to a certain point where I was like, they're picking on this woman, and I don't know why. But anyway,
Okay.
kid you not. Like it took him, if I remember this documentary correctly, 10 years for him to take off. And he kept going. He kind of adjusted his content and just kept plugging along. So like he's the only guy I can kind of think of because my kid used to watch him regularly.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at how he's evolved, he went from starting stuff on YouTube, incorporating more people, doing all these challenges, and he evolved into a multimillionaire, and now he has his own show on Prime. So like that was 10 years to become big on YouTube. And now 5 years later, that's like a 15-year start to have his own show on Amazon. So like, we ain't giving up. It just teaches us to like strategize and figure out the market and what's working, what's not working, stuff like that. Because it's stuff like all good things take time, like fine fucking wine, which we are.
Period. That, because my brain just froze on me, which happens all the time. So I'm sorry, I just created something for you to have to edit out. But there was a moral to that. It'll come back to me, and hopefully I won't blurt it out like I did Miss Darlene Haygood.
Look, we are women of particular age. We forget shit real easy these days.
Real particular.
Very easy. Like, oh, I need to go check to see if we have toilet paper. A day later, do we have toilet paper? Oh shit, I never checked.
I forgot.
Again.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's definitely gonna come. It's gonna come together. What episode? I feel like that episode, the one that we talked about with the guests.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that one was a very good learning experience. Like out of all the episodes we did for season 4, I was very appreciative for that learning lesson because it'll never happen again, right? So, what episode do you feel like you learned the most from? I have a feeling I know what you're gonna say, but go ahead. What episode?
I do think. Funny thing that you say that, because I do think that was the lesson. That was the episode we learned the most about what we should have done, shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
As people who are trying to perfect their craft and their business, we did learn the most. However,
girl, I knew.
I'll be honest with you, my absolute, like, even from this season, I do have a favorite. But my absolute all-time favorite is still Brawling Bama. I laugh so hard when I think about the fucking chair. Like every time I think about, and this was season 2. Was it season 2? It wasn't even season 3.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. 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 And you know what? It's so hilarious. I was watching a movie because somebody recommended this movie to me, and I was watching the movie, and dead in the middle of the behind cutting, he was dishing out. He pulls out a folding chair, and I fell off. Like, I was just like, whoa. Like, and that, I won't say what show it was or what movie it was, but I watched the movie, and the movie it reminded me of what we were trying to do for This Is Us. When we're talking about history and Black history and historical events and places and yada 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 yada. But when he pulled out that damn folding chair, I fell out. I was like, yes, beat the off of them with that chair, honey. He just pulled it up. Bam, bam. I was like, yes. Out of all the historical moments in this whole movie, I think that one was my favorite. I just do. Because that was definitely a historical moment. And I I did absolutely, yeah, I think that is definitely one of
All
my
time?
favorites. Yes, honest to God, it
Even so.
was.
Yeah,
'Cause
even so.
it was and I'm not saying that we condone violence, that's not really what it was.
No.
It was, it meant more than that. It wasn't really about that. It was about the that moment of unity, right? It was about that kid
Ah,
that that
slippery.
swam in the damn
Aquaman.
water that gets it. Listen, that's what it was about. It was about the unity that happened in that moment, like,
Mhm.
you know, um, and I feel like we're not in that time now, and I think that was another tough thing for, season 4 as well. I feel like, some people are feeling really bold and some people are feeling really bold and entitled, and then you have other people that are feeling really confused and almost like that song, "My Girl, What the Fuck is Going On?" Um, and when it comes to just season 4, like, not even of all time, but if we talk about season 4 and we talk about, um, a favorite episode, it's kinda hard, but I really enjoyed Attorney Di.
Yeah.
And not that I don't wanna take anything away from any of our other guests, but I enjoy her so much because, um, it took I don't wanna say a veil off, but she explained it in such a way that you realize certain things that we thought we had a right to, we really don't.
Yeah.
She really broke it down to where, honestly, I was shook a little bit. I really wholeheartedly was a little afraid in that moment, especially when we asked her what she was most fearful of, right?
Yeah. Mm,
Right? And it was
mhm.
so I really enjoyed that episode because it gave me a extra pause in reality. No, it's not what we felt like we've been taught all our lives. Because there's some things that we've been taught all our lives that I was like, "What?"
Yeah, and, like, not understanding, like, just because this is within the Constitution doesn't mean that your state law
Yes.
is going to abide by it, or they it
Adapt it.
right, perfect word,
Adopt it,
adopt
adopt it.
it,
Right.
but then having to know the difference between, like, who's bringing this case. Like, if someone is bringing a federal case, it'll be federalized. If it's a state case, like, you having to know those things, it is like there's not enough time in the day to really know this unless maybe you are an attorney within the state that you're in. I mean, whatever. But like
Right.
there's no way for the average citizen to really know that. And you
Right.
could be like it's funny how like there's this stigma against like criminals. Oh, you're a criminal. People break the law every day. They just don't fucking realize that they're doing it. You run a fucking stop sign, guess what? You broke the
True.
law. You just ain't get caught. You run a red light, guess what? You just broke the law. So like, I don't know why people are so like in certain instances, absolutely, I'm fucking judging when it comes to breaking the law.
Mhm.
But we don't know enough about it, our state or federal laws, to know that when we could be, we may not know. But
It kind of opened we always knew, right, as people of color, right, the bias, right? But it made it a whole lot more easier for us to understand how they're getting away with the bias,
Yeah,
right? I
absolutely.
know I felt that way.
Absolutely. And it's when it comes to the law, if you it's one of the things that she said, I can't remember if it was in the part 3 or the part 2, how much poverty impacts your success outcome when it comes to this. And the biggest story that I can think about, like she used case examples of what she experienced with people who don't know the language and stuff like that. But the one that can think of that's the most horrifying is Khalif Browder. And if you don't know, look it up. He stayed in jail for years because his family could not fucking afford to bail him out. And his outcome his is heartbreaking. So it was a real eye opener for sure. But she didn't sugarcoat it. She didn't sugarcoat it, which I appreciated. Like, you're not gonna like this, but this is what it is. And
Mhm.
suck it up, buttercup.
Pretty much. Like
She
that,
does it
right? Just like that.
nicely. She does it so cute that you're like, oh damn, what?
Yeah, I absolutely, I absolutely love that,
Yeah,
uh, those episodes. I really enjoyed her as an individual,
yeah, she's so cute. Yeah,
um, yeah, outside of her being such a good teacher.
yes,
Um, so outside of that, I just enjoyed her as an individual. She was funny, and she was exactly what you said, very honest. Like it or not, you wanna hear it? Here you go.
yeah,
Um, and, um, and that was the other thing that I appreciate about her, exactly what you said, is that she, gave it to you straight, like, no like you said, no sugarcoat, no chaser, no nothing, like, this is what it is, and there is a level of respect for that,
yeah,
and that's all across the board. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like, stop trying to, you know with me personally, now I'm not everybody, so everybody is really different with how they receive stuff, because we just talked about that, like, it's hard to say certain things because everybody can't really handle the truth, right? So we just talked about it. But, me as an individual, it might hurt my feelings, right? But I'd rather you just put it out there. Like,
yeah,
don't spoon feed me. Don't give it to me in doses. Can you give it to me so I can get it over with? And then I can know how I'm going to move forward now that I have all of the information. Don't hold back for me. And that's just me personally. Not everybody is like that. Some people they have to take it in doses. Some people they want it to be delicate and pretty and all neat with a bow and shit. But I ain't one of them people. I'm
yeah,
like, tell me I'd rather you that saying that I used to say all the time, and I got it from our grandmother, you know. Um, I'd rather you hurt me with the truth than to kill me with a lie. And
mm,
I don't know where the hell that saying came from, but I know our grandmother used to say it all the damn time. But yeah, I'd rather hurt me with the truth, but
mhm,
you know, let me
yeah.
heal and move forward.
And I think, like, I do believe it was a hard episode to put together. It wasn't. I mean, I don't know quite how to put this. When we had a Be Love as a guest was a fantastic guest because she was so. And it's one of my favorite episodes because there was at one point we didn't even know if it was going to happen because we kept having like technical difficulties, and it was like, oh my god! But this was meant to happen. We just had to kind of work around some of those challenges that we were experiencing. Um, but I think why I look at her as my favorite is because like getting to actually see her, like, I don't know her on a personal level, but I watch her content and she seems so much lighter now. If that
You
makes sense.
know,
She seems less like she's a raw individual. You know what I mean? And she's an open and honest individual. and a little bit harsh. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean like a little, you know what I mean? But it's like her be more vocal about her story,
Mhm.
like she's softened a little bit. Like when she opens up and you see like her doing her florals and talking, there is a like I don't know, maybe I'm looking at it in a different way, but you can see this lightness from her that maybe would not have come across within the episode. But when you get to see her, like who she is, like she's such a phenomenal person. And the light that's coming from her now, like I think that's been my favorite part about that experience with her. If that makes
Girl, it does, but I, like, really have to tell you this because this is we're all about honesty, right? And you're probably gonna be like, "Girl, what?" But Imma tell you what my favorite part of the episode was. The learning lesson. I'm big on learning lessons, right? I realized something about myself when we were doing that episode, right? Is that, most of my life I say, "Oh, I'm good with change. I love change. I'm good with change." But how quick you pivoted when we was having those technical difficulties.
I was like, we
And I
gotta
was
pivot.
girl, and I was still stuck. I was like, "What? What do you mean?" Because I was used to the way we were doing things, right?
Mhm.
And, that was another need to have happened. Maybe not for Oust itself, but for Oust in the long term because, girl, that was hard for me. You want me to do what?
I know. And I was like,
You want me
oh
to
my
use
God.
what? I don't understand why. Ain't nobody else had no problem. Why do we have to do this? I I'm not understanding. And I'm like, I look back on it now and I was like, man, yeah. Because in real life, that is some real life shit. And even though in real life, we deal with pivots all the time and we deal with having to put out fires and put out fires really quickly. For me, in the everyday life, okay. But when you start talking about tech stuff behind this, I can't really explain it. Like, I was just like, she did that so quick. She's like, okay, we just gotta do this. And I'm still stuck on like the fuck what we doing? So I thought that was
Yeah.
and I did enjoy her 100% as a guest. I really did. But honest to God, I know it seems crazy, but I swear to God, that was like my biggest
It was
takeaway.
the
Be
light
like,
bulb moment.
girl, it's like, oh, um, but yeah, I did like I was saying earlier, I have enjoyed every guest except and even him, he was one of the most important. I won't say the most, but he was one of the most important um guests because of that negative thing. And because it changed how we move um
Yeah.
when we're doing it. But I did like her. But that beginning process, I was like,
I that was very challenging, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, and I'm not even that like I'm semi tech savvy, not fully. But I was like, oh my God, she's ready. We need this to go through. This isn't working. I don't understand why, but
yeah.
we're just gonna find something else.
And you did it fairly quickly. And I'm still standing there looking at this computer like,
Honestly, I think, but there had been moments through while we were trying to get it to work. There was a moment I was like, well, maybe this just wasn't meant to happen. And that's why we're kind of struggling with this. But then I was like, no, no, we're gonna move forward and we're gonna try to figure something else out. And
and very good
people,
decision. Very, 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 very good decision because um people really felt that one, and I really believe what it was, and I could be wrong, but I could identify with some of her story because I have definitely dealt with a narcissist before, and I feel like, people have. There's actually some content that I watch that really is based on just surviving and healing when you've had to deal with, um, that type of a person. Um, so I think that also that topic was such, in my opinion, a really insightful topic.
There's a
Very
lot.
insightful topic.
You don't realize
Very.
how many people have been impacted by it. Just we know it because of it shows in the views. Now, if you the episode is surviving a narcissist, and it came out in 3 parts, and part 1 almost feels a little bit different from 2 and 3. It almost could have been 2 separate episodes, but that's not how we structured it. It is what it is. But it really did highlight, and there's one that we look at, and I try not to look at because his voice usually really makes me sick to my stomach whenever I hear that person's voice. Is like there's narcissists running around all over the place, and you don't even fucking realize it. You mean like the emperor with no clothes? We all know it now. Straight up.
Facts.
The emperor.
I have to watch what I say, girl. I had to catch myself, girl. Shut up. Um, um, that episode, although I make light of it by talking about the fact that we had to pivot early on, and I was so stuck on not having to change from what we normally do for the episodes. Once we got into it, by the time we got to the end of it, um like I said, I could really identify with her story, and one of the things that we talk about when it comes to oust, right, is that one of the things when it comes to oust as a podcast is that we want people to know um that they are not by themselves in whatever it is. We talk about a lot of things, and some of these topics are definitely things that need to be discussed and need to be out there. Again, we don't discuss everything that we have strong opinions on because safety, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? In general, outside of the podcast. Um, but her sharing her story, it was beneficial not just for people like me that could identify, but um for awareness, because it might be some young lady who watched that episode that recognizes the signs, that maybe hasn't dealt with narcissism before, or haven't dealt with abuse before, but now that they're listening to the story that Beloved shared, now they can recognize some of the signs like isolation and that manipulation, and the it starts off with small um it starts off with small stuff, and then they kind like testers, like feelers. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Like, let's see what I can get away with. And then, so that episode, I feel like, and maybe that's why it did well, because it really did do well. It did really well. And I was like, okay. I was very surprised that the one that we did on 9/11 didn't do really well. I really thought that one was really good. And I felt like that one was real polished. Might I? You
I
right?
thought so
I was like,
too. I
yo,
was proud of that
my
one.
I was thinking that. I was like, yo, my sister, my co-host, she did her big one when she put this together. Right? I was like, yo, this is really good. She did that. And I'm not saying that you don't always do good, because you do. You sit in the background and try to come up with different ideas, especially when it comes to the visuals and all of those dope things. So you are behind the scenes with the tech stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that episode, I mean, even when I went and looked at it, I was like, yo, she really put, not saying that you don't put effort in all of them, because you do, but it was just something about that episode. And when I see that it really didn't do well, I was really surprised. And I would say that was the one that one of the ones that I am like most surprised didn't really
Yeah.
do better. That one and the one about Glow and her sister. Like, I really thought those was gonna do a
Well,
lot better.
I mean, it just came out, so maybe we might have missed
Give it
our
some
mark
time.
and some time. I
Okay.
think you know what? I am very proud of that episode because
Yeah. It should be.
there was something about it that was it was something very special, and I can't help but wonder if maybe it was that day was so impactful for us, but I think it's also a day that a lot of people just want to forget.
Mm.
And while I look at it in a way of like I still get sad about that day. Maybe I'm kind of stuck in that moment, which is fair to say. Not stuck in that moment, but in the emotions of that day, it's like yesterday. I kid you not, which I don't get like that about a lot of things. I really don't. Like I'm very much like, okay, this thing happened. I'm a work through it and I'm going to move forward. So I'm not stuck in the past about any like some things, yes, but very little am I stuck in the past. I make it my mission to not live there because I want to be here. But for whatever reason, that day and time still feels like yesterday to me. So if that meant a lot to me, but I think a lot of people are like, that happened and we're going to put it away. And that's okay. And I think maybe that's why I missed the mark. I'll be very honest with you.
That is definitely a very profound way of looking at it. It really is. And I kind of I like that take on it. And that would explain, you know, the shock of it all. Cause I definitely was like, wow, really? I kind of, yeah. Especially how you put it together. I feel like you didn't get your due justice for that episode. So I was very, 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 very disappointed. Out of all of the ones that I was really, really disappointed, I want to say I was the most disappointed with that one. I'm gonna be honest because I felt like I guess really some of them had to jump through hoops more than others because it was trying to
Get it where we needed to be. And some didn't even make it because
right.
technical
Right.
difficulties and Wi-Fi issues and stuff like that. But
And it was very pre-planned too. I feel like out of all of our episodes, we planned that one kind of out, right? Did we plan that one out?
like
He
4
was like, we're gonna
weeks.
plan this one out. So this gonna be good. Everybody gonna have their stuff in on time. And for the most part, everybody really did, except for some technical difficulties that we
Yeah.
had towards the end.
Yeah.
And I know that had to be really stressful for you because you was behind the scenes trying to put everything together, make sure everything was meeting the deadlines. And I'm over here, how's everything going, sis? Sorry. But
But you know
yeah, I was disappointed. I was disappointed with that one because I feel like you really yeah, that one was really good. And the fact that everybody didn't really think it was good, I was like,
they
you
just
suck.
didn't it missed the mark. I mean, maybe if we were to re-air it at an anniversary, maybe that would do it. But I
Yeah.
think the moment is lost, and there's a lot of people who are not so like tied into the day. But I sit here and think like that shit was life changing, even though we didn't even lose anybody.
So
Like
no
it's literally
revisit?
it changed. Maybe we can re-air that one where there's like a big anniversary.
Okay.
But it was so much, and it was different because it was more like a documentary style, which we hadn't really done before. And I was like, holy shit, this is gonna be fucking epic. Complete flop.
Girl. So, wait. Speaking of revisit, just because it was in my mind. Speaking of revisit, if there was an episode from season 4 only, right? Which one? I swear to God, I don't even know why I asked you. I swear to God, I think I know what your answer is going to be. If there was an episode that you could really revisit and be like, let's come at this again, which one would it be?
To like a redo?
Yeah, like redo, back this up, and let's do a redo.
From season 4.
I thought I knew what you was gonna say, but you're giving it a whole lot of thought. But I already know off the top of my head which one I wish I could redo. On God, I do.
I mean, I would just take this one fucking out completely. It's that stupid. That's what the fuck. I'm looking at it because I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name of it in this moment. But it was that conspiracy theories that turned out to be true. Like I would completely eliminate that. Like we did the content, we fucking did it. But I hated that one. By the time we were done with it, I was like, I'm so over this fucking episode. I don't even want to fucking edit it.
Okay.
I was over that episode when we finished recording it. By the time it got to editing, I was like, I was on the struggle bus because I just didn't want to.
I think what it was, and you can tell me if I am wrong. I think what it was is that we thought it was going to be funny, right? We thought it was going to be like funny and upbeat. And then as we started reading some of the stuff, we was like, what?
And by the way, that episode did better than I thought it was going to do. Because it got higher views. And I was like, why?
What?
Why?
I know why. I know why. Now, I could be absolutely wrong, right? But I feel like because everybody was thinking like we were thinking. Conspiracy theories. And some people are really conspiracy. What's the word? It's another way of saying it, but it won't come to me right now because I'm slow. I can't articulate my words right now. But what is it when you're really into like the conspiracy thing? You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure they were thinking the same thing we were thinking when we were like excited about doing it. Right?
It was terrible. I mean, you're right because there's a lot of people
it's like this
or
is not what I thought.
That they get their highest. They're influencing on conspiracy theory, which could technically be wrong, but in this case, allegedly, all of those were right. It actually did happen. So it's kind of like some of those things you'd rather be a conspiracy theory, and maybe that was part of it. Like it was like this is real. What?
Right? One of those I would rather not have known. It was definitely one of those, especially after we started getting. I think we even said it when we were like kind of after we got into it, and I think it started pretty early on, right?
I think so. Really? Around the third one, we were like, "What? This is torture.
This is
see it through.
This is not." I felt like we were
not loving it.
Girl, I felt like we was toughing that shit out. Like, oh my God. I think it was because we were disappointed because we thought it was going to be a lot lighter than it was. And it wound up being a pretty heavy episode because some of the stuff that we found out was really real was like, oh my gosh.
Like the propaganda one. Like I was like, I don't know. I can't think of one. That one kind of stands out as far as like, yo, that's trash. About the young girl making claims about something that turned out to be completely false, but it was some political shit. Like I cannot.
Absolutely. Like, wow, what? It took the fun out of it.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, oh my God, this one's gonna be so fun, right?
Yes.
But I tell you what I was very thankful for is that I think both of us did this. We waited to really get a genuine reaction of the conspiracy theories, right? Like, let's find out together which one of these. conspiracy theories, which ones, are true.
Mhm.
And we toughed it out together. We learned together, and very surprised. I mean, I take it back. Surprised, but then again, when you think about it, probably
Not at the
not
same.
surprised. Be like,
Yeah.
man, I don't even know why that surprised me. Like, what the um but I'm happy that we did not look at it beforehand, because I think it might have not would have made the cut,
Off
and
the
it wouldn't have
table.
got right. It was like, hell no, this is like serious shit right here. But thank God that we didn't, and that we did it, because that was also another one that, like you just said, that got a pretty good viewing, right? Like,
Surprisingly.
surprisingly, right? It sometimes it is like that though. You I know it is for me. Like, it'd be the song that I really, really hate that I seem to know all the damn words to. I don't even like
Oh,
the song. And I know the words to it. I'm like, I don't even like this song. Why do I know the words to this shit?
because it's been beat
You
into your
know?
head because it's on the regular radio rotation.
Probably.
Uh,
Right. Um,
yeah. I think that would
it's
have been like,
kinda
just take it out entirely.
really? You would do away with it?
I mean, we can't because it's not what we want. It's like people
It's what the
watched it.
reviewers want, right? And they seem to really like it. And honey, I was so ready
Maybe
to get that shit over with. I was like, man, I can't read no more of this shit, because this is some real shit here. It's
maybe
not
we
even funny. It's
maybe
not funny. He was like, "Where's
right.
the joke in this? Ain't nothing about this shit funny." I thought it was gonna be, honest to God, I kind of thought they was gonna be talking about like aliens
Aliens.
and
Yeah.
like flying
Roswell, UFOs.
saucers, right? And then when we started reading that, I was like, "Girl, ain't nothing but UFOs in this motherfucker."
No little green men.
I'm not I'm not seeing anything about what was that? What's that 54? What is that studio? What is the one about the UFOs where they
Area
supposed to
51.
Area 50? This ain't nothing about Area 51. Oh, what the hell?
You
Uh,
know, that's why I
that's
did it
kind
too.
of
Like, oh, this is gonna be a fun one.
I
Not.
was like, oh yeah, they're gonna be talking about aliens. They're gonna be talking about outer space mission. I mean, I don't know, underworld, under in the ocean,
Right?
cities.
Merman, 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 mer
They gonna, they
mermaid.
gonna be talking about what? Sis? They gonna be talking about Gerald's. Like, I did not. It was so far from what I was really expecting it to look like. You know, underwater cities, under construction. I, you know,
It's bonkers. I did think it would be more aligned with that, and that was
yeah. I definitely was
trash.
like,
And I
man,
trash ass episode. I hated doing that
this
one.
shit, this shit sucks. I can't like. Some of it was really hard for me to even really wrap my mind around. But again, surprised. But why am I surprised?
No, especially not
Yeah.
in the day and age we're living. Like shit is just being concocted out of nowhere. Justification for things that are happening now that you're like, why is this happening? Because we still don't understand. Like,
Girl, stop. Mm, facts. Um, from the season itself,
Mm.
what do you feel your takeaway from season 4?
As a whole,
Yeah.
it just helped me kind of see like the strategy. What I think is the strategy we need to be, or the direction we need to be going in. I think, based off of what got. I think that's what I learned the most. Like overall, like we need to do some changing up on certain things and kind of readjusting a little bit on what our direction needs to be. I think,
It's
and learning how to be more of an asshole, like the assholes that come on our lives talking about fucking people fighting over motherfucking
chicken.
people.
Chicken.
Yeah.
Um,
That
I
guy's a Mitch. Mitch,
I
bitch.
feel like I really feel like we have I feel like that was the biggest lesson also for me as far as season 4 is exactly what you said, being more direct, being outspoken, don't hold back. Sometimes um give it to people how you want them to give it to you, which is raw and uncut. And who cares what they think about it, because at the end of the day, someone's always gonna have an opinion. Someone's always gonna you can always have negative as well as positives, and to keep going. It
Yeah,
regardless, that's what I was gonna say earlier. Ain't that thank you, Lord. You always come at the right time, right? So regardless of what it looks like, keep going, because you
yeah,
can't just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it's not happening and that it's not going to happen. You have to, push through it, and that's what I feel. I feel like, you know, we have really come a long way as a podcast, right? To where I remember you sent me a microphone that the boys stole. Do you remember that shit? They took out a microphone to ma to make they rap songs. You know what I'm saying?
Incidentally, microphones have gotten way better and cheaper, by the way.
Right? Okay. From the microphone that I was plugging in my cell phone just so we could get audio,
That's right,
right? Do you remember
because
that? Do you
if
remember? I was really right? Remember that?
we started out
Man.
recording on our phones.
Period. And then um and look at the progression. Now we have lighting, not big lighting, but guess what? We have lighting. We
Better
have
lighting.
better lighting, girl. Make it do what it do. Um we have visual because we always did not have a visual.
Mhm,
Um, we have our own song, Oust Now
mhm.
song. Um, so we're on YouTube now because we wasn't always on YouTube. We was just Spotify strictly,
Spotify.
right?
Yeah,
Um, and so even though we may not be growing at maybe some other people's pace, it's gonna grow on at our own pace, and I see the growth already. Yeah, we're not there yet, but I believe we are definitely gonna be there. We just, like you said you got the niche. You said you feel like you come up with a potion, and even if this is not the potion, it's all right. Whip something else, put something else together,
we pivot.
and keep him, girl. And you are really good at pivoting.
You gotta, like,
Need I remind you?
by the
You
way,
like doing
it's
it.
funny because I was like, I can pivot for the most part on most things. Personal life, work life, I could be like, "All right, well, I guess I gotta go in a different direction." Like, I can pivot pretty easily. Don't know I don't know where that I don't know where that comes from. I
I could
don't know.
probably tell you. I feel like we've had to do a lot of adjusting. For me, I shouldn't have spoke for you, but I feel like we've had to do a lot of. I've had to do a lot of adjusting, and maybe that's my shy away from because I've had to do uh a lot of adjusting. But that let me see myself to where I know I'm not as good at something as I thought maybe I was. You know what I mean? Um,
You know what? I'm not that good at pivoting in my personal life on some things. Some
really?
things. Some things yes,
Okay.
some things no. Some things yes,
No.
some things no, but I think my experience in the workplace, I really think is what has helped me kind of pivot because there
Okay.
was a lot of times where I was the only one in the room and I really had to prove myself double harder than a lot of other people. And I knew that people were so ready to see me fail that I was like, that's not gonna
Mhm.
happen. and I'm going to prove you wrong. And I really think, because I look at this, like, this is a labor of love, but I look at this, how much do I want it to succeed? And then I was like, how much I wanted the podcast to succeed. It drove me to say, well, we're going to have to fix them now quick. But that's how I approach most things, like in the workplace. Like, you're not going to try to fuck me and let it be like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, because I do. And even if I don't, I will. So like, I think that experience kind of carried me through a lot. And even down to the fact, like, when there was one job in particular, I won't even say what it is, but I kind of developed a system to make things flow a certain way. So it was easier for us to get to the bottom, to get to the end line, because the way that it was before was completely chaotic. And I did that. I will never be recognized for it. And I don't mean like a computer system or anything like that. It was like a way to do these things with what we had, so we can get to here quickly and efficiently. Like, I'm a very efficient person when it comes down to what it's important to me. And this podcast is important. I was like, yo, this shit's it's gonna happen. And I think maybe that's kind of where I've learned how to pivot. If I think about it, it meant, for whatever reason, it meant a lot for that to happen. And it happened. And look at the result. And if you think about it, our whole podcast system is we have to continuously pivot. How many times each year we've looked at what we've done and said, you know what, I think we need to do this differently.
I agree. I think that's another reason why I love, wholeheartedly, just hear me out, I thoroughly enjoy our season finales. I really do, because I feel like when we get to the season finales and we go over all the things that we have done for that season, it not only is it just really honest how you feel about whatever, but it also allows you to see from, like, I can see from your point of view. You can see from my point of view, you know what I'm trying to say? And it's so overall, not just this episode, that episode, but everything combined, the whole season together, like in a nutshell. I really enjoy these episodes. When we get to the season finale and we start talking about everything that we talked about for the whole season, it's like, let's dive in, because I feel like it's one of those tools that we need to get that magic sauce that you was talking about earlier.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. It's so important that we do it, because, like, I don't know, like, we see the value in it, and we are inviting you into that process. So, like, it's not all easy as we might make it seem some days. We invite you into that process.
I honestly, I think about you that one day, and I'll never forget it, and it sticks out in my head. And it was this one day we recorded this episode. I really cannot remember what episode it was, but I remember you saying, "Hey, I got a headache, but we're gonna record this episode. We're gonna get through this episode, and then when we're done, I'll go address this headache." And that just shows the dedication that you have, um, and the fact that combined, we really do believe it's gonna grow. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, like, I'm over here, like, my stomach is like, "You still talking?" But
and my bladder is like, when you gonna take care of this?
Hell, when you done? You not done yet?
Stop taking
over here.
It's gonna make you want to go more.
It's over here bubbling up and shit. I'm surprised you can't hear it with this microphone. But it just shows that, we really believe in it. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of us. Like, this, it's not just me. Like, it wouldn't be without the both of us. And I think we have both come a long way in this podcast, and even as individuals. And that comes out in what you see. That comes out in what you see. Like, just know that, like, the work that we're doing on ourselves behind the scenes is really what you're seeing. So like just yeah. And you
Yeah.
should be proud of yourself. Like I hope that I sometimes it's hard for us to see like when we reflect on the work that you're doing, you have to look at the work that you've accomplished for yourself. So you can be proud of yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah.
so as you express that to me, I hope that you are expressing that to yourself as well, because you should be just as proud of your accomplishments. Um,
Girl, you know
my
I'm a
little nugget,
crybaby.
my
Ooh,
little
thank
nugget for the day before we wrap this because I gotta pee and she hungry.
you. Girl.
And my bladder is not that of a 10-year-old no more.
Girl. I don't know if at 10 I could have handled this right here. I'm just saying I was youthful then, like,
Do you need a Snickers?
girl, you're not yourself when you're hungry. But yeah, and the season finales are a really good useful tool, and I would love for the ousters and people viewing it to kind of weigh in. Like, what do you think about the season finale? Do you agree with what we see? Because really it's not us just looking at each other or looking at it as a whole, but definitely we would love for our viewers to, put a word in, say what you think. What
Mhm.
is your opinion? What was your favorite episode of season 4? Or heck, if you want to say favorite episode of all time, um we would love that feedback. And of course, we will be working on season 5. So if you
Mhm.
want to be a guest, go on right over there to oustnow.com and look at that application, that form, and go ahead and fill in that form. And if you have a topic, of course, reach out to us. Oust oustpodcast at gmail.com. It's right there in your face, Janine. All you got to do is read it. I don't
I
know
was
why
like,
I
wait a
struggle.
minute.
I don't know why I struggle with this every time, like every time. Um, and don't forget, on our YouTube channel, please don't forget, comment, like, and share all of the things. Um, and just show us some love and support. We're not tripping if you don't, but we would really appreciate it if you would. If you're gonna come and listen in, stay and listen in and comment and share your opinions, because sometimes people's opinions are different. And sometimes you might
And
not agree with what we say,
and we welcome it. Like
fine.
we're not ogres and stuff like that. Like we're here for
Right.
keep it respectful, and we're here
Right.
for open dialogue. And even though this is the season finale, like this is not the last you're going to hear of us, because we do have season 2 of our special series Us Now presents This Is Us, which we will start working on shortly in about a week or so. Maybe let me see, it's March. So somewhere mid to late April, you'll see more of us. So like this, even though everyone needs a break, and this is the season finale for our regular podcast, but we've got more coming for you. So just be patient, set those notifications, subscribe, all that shit.
All of those things. And eventually we are gonna tap back into the lives, right? But we're just changing the days that we're gonna do it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
eventually we will be starting to go live again.
Mhm.
However, we're just gonna work on a schedule.
Yeah, and comment
Yeah.
there too, because like we've noticed the Sunday lives are not, they're maybe not hitting the way y'all need it to be, because Sunday's Sunday, everyone's trying to wind down for work on Monday. So we're going to
Right.
start playing with where we're going live, because we might incorporate TikTok again, we don't really know. But finding the right day is something that we're working on, so stay tuned for that as well.
Please. And opinions, votes. I know one time we did a vote on it, and maybe we could look at revisiting a way that people could vote on, because we did a vote before.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah. Like do like a poll.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's
Yeah, we
do
can
like
do
a
it.
like a poll and
Yeah.
see what our ousters, think about it. So as always, ousters, we appreciate you. Anyone new, please, hang in there with us. Like, comment, share, do all of the things. Time is something that you can't get back. So the fact that you shared it here with us, we appreciate it. So much love for each and every one of y'all. That's all I got, sis.
We appreciate y'all. Catch you soon.
Let's make a difference as we speak through conversation for our future and future generations. Let's talk about it.